There is no wedding for her. In the story as Andersen published it in 1837, the mermaid dies, and Andersen believed that was the right ending. By the last page she is foam on a sunrise sea. How she gets there is the part no film has ever kept. You know the version with the happy ending, the voice traded for legs, the wedding, the witch defeated. That version arrived in 1989. The 1837 original runs on different fuel, silence, pain, and a decision made with a knife in her hand. Let's read it properly. Hans Christian Andersen published it on the 7th of April, 1837, a shoemaker's son whose fairy tales the polite world never fully tamed. It opens like a lullaby, far out where the water is blue as the prettiest cornflower. Andersen always set his traps gently. Andersen grew up poor in Odense and reached Copenhagen at 14. The sea in his stories is the one outside his window, cold, real, unsentimental. It begins with a birthday, her first trip to the surface, a ship, a prince, and a storm that takes the ship apart around him. She holds his head above the water through the night, and leaves him on a beach, where another young woman finds him. Remember her? To follow him ashore she swims to the sea which, through polyps clutching the bones of sailors who came before. The toll is posted early. The witch knows her business before a word is spoken. Her price list is explicit, and the first item is the mermaid's voice. Not borrowed. Removed. Payment is taken with a blade. The witch cuts out her tongue, and hands over a draft that will split her tail into legs. Then the fine print on the legs, every step she ever takes will feel like standing on knife points. She drinks anyway. And one more clause, if the prince marries another, she dies at the next sunrise and becomes foam. No soul. Merfolk are not issued one. On land she becomes the prince's favorite curiosity. He calls her his little foundling. He never learns her name. There is no way to tell him. Andersen gives her exactly one accomplishment on land, dancing. The single thing she does beautifully is the thing that hurts most to do. Then the engagement. The prince marries the girl from the beach, the one who found him, and thanks the mermaid warmly for sharing his happiness. That night her sisters rise from the sea, their hair shorn to nothing. They traded it to the witch, for a knife, and away home. She carries the knife into the wedding tent, watches the sleeping couple, and flings it into the waves. At sunrise she follows it over the rail. So where did an ending like that come from? Not from an editor's knife. From Andersen's own life, in the strangest year of it. Strictly, she doesn't only die. She joins the Daughters of the Air, working toward a soul across 300 years of good deeds. The author of Mary Poppins read that final clause, a day added for each naughty child, and answered for every reader since. Andersen, this is blackmail. Now the history underneath. Edvard Collin was Andersen's closest friend, and the man to whom Andersen wrote letters that still startle scholars. In one, he languishes for Collin, quote, as for a pretty Calabrian wench. In another, this. The letters survive, the arguments about them do too. And the timing, Edvard Collin married in 1836. Andersen wrote The Little Mermaid in the months that followed, and finished it that winter. One caution while we're here, because a viral version of this story goes one step further than the evidence does. What Andersen did put in writing was the point of his ending: her immortal soul would not depend on being loved by a man. Read that way, the tale stops being a tragedy about a man. It becomes a story about earning your own soul when the fairy tale fails you. It fits the Andersen pattern. His children suffer and are repaid in heaven, never by rescue. The match girl freezes smiling, the tin soldier melts. The mermaid, at least, chose. Next, the original Cinderella, two sisters take a knife to their own feet, and the internet's favorite fact about the slipper is itself a myth. Subscribe for the versions underneath.